Hey, what's up, everybody? Austin Nestle here with my man and good friend Kyle Lasota, the founder of Wellness Daddy. Look him up, check him out because the guy is on a rocket ship right now. Today, we want to talk about the before and after. So, you've been in business for a while, but you just recently pivoted a couple things, Kyle, and ultimately exploded. You went from 3 years to get to 35,000 YouTube subscribers, and now in 3 months, you went up to 80,000. You were getting 120,000 views per month. Now you're up to 1 million views a month. How did you do it? What did you shift? What did you pivot? How did you explode?
I think the biggest thing that I shifted was I started making videos that I knew could reach a wider audience. And the reason why I started doing that is because I had been making very narrow content that was speaking to the product level of someone's consciousness versus someone who has just no awareness around what this problem is. And the further I went up the funnel, the more people I reached. I had this big backlog of content that once people saw one or two videos, and they watched the rest of the channel.
So you built the base, but then you went broader to attract them in. Like, how did you know to pivot to do that? Did you just stumble upon this, or did you consciously do this to attract like a bigger net?
Yeah, I felt that I was very stuck at this like income level, and I felt like YouTube wasn't pushing my content. And so I said, like, it was very conscious. I need to reach more people. In order to do that, I need to make videos that have a wider appeal. And by nature of bringing more people to the channel, more people will buy the things that I'm selling.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, cool. So let's break this down. All right. So somebody has an audience, whether it's on social, whether it's on YouTube, whatever, and they want to explode. All right. What have you learned to get them interested and engaged? Not only changing kind of the broader net that you're going to, but like how do you get them actually interested and engaged? What have you learned from a hook standpoint or a topic idea standpoint? Anything there stand out?
Yeah, there's three things that I focus on, which is number one, the idea. So what's the actual idea of the video? I spend the majority of my time thinking about that. And then the next thing would be the packaging, which is the title and the thumbnail. And that could be the same on any other platform. Is like, what is the thing that people see first, right? And what's the first line that they read? And then beyond that would be just like everyone talks about like making better hooks, but really, really looking at my retention graphs and seeing where people are dropping off and trying to break down and analyze why it's working or not working. And then doing my very best to experiment till I get something that is working. But I really think the heavy lifting comes from the idea. You could have not great packaging and not a great hook if the idea is killer. And I think most people don't think about that enough.
Yeah, they rush that, right? But a couple of things that you're sharing is like test, iterate. Some of it's going to work, some of it's not. But look at your numbers, know your numbers. And then once you find something that works, try to do more of it. But so many people are too busy to come up with a good idea, be strategic and intentional about it, track their numbers, do more of that same particular thing. It's really hard to get something to actually work. So when it does, do more of it. So I love that you've increased the cadence of what you're doing and again, taken off as a result. So one other thing that we haven't talked about yet is like, yes, you've blown up your brand, but you've also blown up your lead conversions and you've found a really strong lead magnet that has absolutely been getting great feedback, getting a lot of opt-ins. What have you learned versus the other call to actions and opt-ins that you've created before?
Yeah, this is, I think, the big difference maker is I asked myself the question. So basically what happened was I had a really big fourth quarter and first quarter last year, and then my revenue dropped and my traffic dropped. And I felt very vulnerable because like the algorithm basically is deciding how much money I make. And that didn't feel like a very sustainable way to do a business. And it didn't make me feel safe in my business. So I am always trying to create as much safety in my organization as possible. And that's like, how do I create moats and backstops and basically be on the defense so that I'm not in a vulnerable spot, which a lot of people do when they rely on algorithms or they rely on one traction channel or they rely on one partner or something like that. So I was like, I need to diversify a little bit. And I know that I need to build my list because that's the best one that I can build is like the one that I own. So I was asking myself the question, what could I do that could bring people onto my list that would be so good that no one would even consider doing this amount of work, that I'm in a league of my own. What I came up with was this like non-toxic database where me and my team screened and vetted hundreds, if not thousands of products. And we spent about 3 to 4 months building this lead magnet. And we reached out to all these companies after we vetted them and we got discount codes for all of them. So hundreds of products, and we organized it, put it all together, made it look pretty and put some education in it. And this is something that I think companies or someone in my position could easily charge for and turn into a product. And we just said, hey, let's make this our list builder. So then I articulated my content around how can we make something that feeds into this, but also with that idea of going wider. So let me package this in a format that can go wider, and then I'll have a small call to action inside of this video when it's relevant to push people into this new lead magnet. And that worked really well.
Yeah, so I love this. So create something so good that you could charge for and give it away for free. I mean, subscribers and followers are one thing, but if you can move them to your email list, that is exponentially more valuable. And your conversion rate from new follower to email subscriber is insane. Like I've never heard of that level. And now I understand why, the importance that you put into it, the work that you put into it, the value of it, which is super cool. Plus, the other thing that you're doing is you're monetizing that lead magnet as well, right?
Going to say that. Yeah. So the cool part about how we built is it's self-liquidating. So it's still early days. So in terms of the numbers, we're not exactly sure what it's going to be like, what's our revenue per subscriber, but it is making money. People are buying products, and we're going to be doing some different strategies to monetize it even better and optimize some of those conversions as we get more data and can make more informed decisions. So that number continues to go up. So eventually, if we wanted to, I mean, we're doing great from the organic side and it's free, but if we wanted to, once we know our numbers really well, then we can turn on paid ads, and then we'll basically be printing money to build the list, and we might even be making money, you know? So it's like, it's this really cool thing that feels really good to give away, and we also get to make money from it as well. So it's like win, win, win.
Yeah, super cool, super cool. Love this. And what we talk about is like building assets. Assets like things that you're going to use for a long time to come. So for instance, we produce 7 figures a year on things that I made over 2 years ago. So oftentimes we'll have people sign up from a video I made like 5 years ago. So like just stack these assets that you can use over and over and over again, especially those core ones, such as what you built with the lead magnet. Super cool there. Final question, Kyle. All right, you've been creating content for years and years and years. All right, fill in the blank here with me of the first things that come to mind. So creating the best content that connects and converts in today's age are, what are the keys to creating content that connects and converts?
I think the biggest suggestion I could give to people is alignment. Like when you're in alignment with what you're doing and what you're selling and what you're communicating and talking about, is like people really feel it. And I think part of the reason why I convert so well through video, of course, I have a background in video and I've been trained and I've been doing marketing for 10 years. But really, when I decide that I want to sell something or push people in a certain direction or quote unquote influence them, like I'm very connected to why I'm doing that. And the feedback that I get is that it's very authentic, right? And so I think conversion has a lot to do with relevancy, and it has a lot to do with trust. So it's like, if you can put really relevant content in front of the right person, if you're really clear on who you're speaking to and why you're speaking to them, and you're committed to that outcome for that person, then automatically your communication becomes exponentially more influential because of that feeling that people get when they're receiving the communication that you're giving. I think that it's kind of like almost like an arbitrary like mindset thing, but like honestly, that's what feels true for me. The other thing that I will say is that I have a background in copywriting, and so everything that I do is always with the end user in mind. And I think really, like, I think a lot about the avatar and like what are they struggling with and what do they need, and like what are the objections that are happening as I'm speaking, and I speak those out in my sales presentation or in the content. And I try to do it in a way that everything I try to do is supposed to be feel good. Communication, my influence, my sales, I want it to land and feel good in the person's nervous system. And that comes from just really understanding who they are, what they're about, and what they're going through, and relating to them and empathizing with them so that they can feel that it's real.
I absolutely love what you're sharing. You're definitely sharing the 80-20 here, because, or one thing I do every day is I do a short little meditation. I just sit in what is out of alignment, right? And being in integrity, but really being in our zone of genius and being in alignment, and all the things that you're talking about allows us to connect and convert, whether we're doing it virtually, whether we're doing it in person, whether we're doing it on a YouTube video, whether we're doing it on a sales presentation or whatever. All of that really, really matters. So I love that you're bringing us back to that. So a couple things that I'm hearing, Kyle. I'm hearing slow down, be super strategic and intentional, build assets, and then once you get something, know your numbers, and then once you get something that works, do it over and over and over again, create the system so that you can do that more. And most importantly, start and end with alignment, something that you're going to keep the client and prospect at the forefront and just serve them. And if you do all those things I just mentioned, you're gonna be blown up like you do, right?
Yeah. I mean, the biggest breakthrough I had this year was taking the focus off of me and like, what can I get? And thinking about, okay, who am I actually trying to serve, and how can I play a role in someone's life on their own journey with what I'm helping them with? And like, what's my contribution to the greater collective and the ecosystem of humanity? Like, I believe that more energy is given to those who contribute to the ecosystem. It's like the trees that grow the highest have the deepest roots. And all those roots are working together in a system to coordinate and make sure everything's in homeostasis and that nature is in balance. And we as humans are a part of that ecosystem and of nature. And so the more that we can contribute to the greater collective, the more energy we receive. And energy is money, right? So you want more money, you need more energy, right? And that's really, I think that's the big shift that happened in the last, year, and specifically within the last 3 months, is I just started thinking, okay, not me, but we. And that was the difference maker.
That's huge. No better way to end than that. Dropping fire. Kyle Lasoto. Check out Wellness Daddy on YouTube, Instagram. Check out his website. Is it wellnessdaddy.com?
That's right.
Check out this lead magnet that we're talking about. Crazy value packed all across the board. You can reverse engineer what Kyle's doing, and definitely hit him up. Kyle, appreciate you, brother.
Yep. Good to be here. Thanks, man.